Hell has frozen over. It's been nearly 8 years of doing YouTube, and I swore I would never do it, but I just love it so much. So it is finally time to do a Slayer guitar solo on this channel. We're going to be looking at Kerry and Jeff's solo from Seasons of the Abyss. Let's take a look. Alright guys, before we get too excited, we just need to talk about the tuning, which is E flat standard, which goes E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat, and another E flat. So get yourself in tune and we'll get started. Alright guys, let's have a look at the first section. I'm going to start off with 3 bends from 19 to the first string. So just a semitone and a little bit up and back on that last one with enough distortion and sustain that will last throughout those bars. Then I work into this. What I'm doing here is a pull off on my fretting hand. I'm pulling the open note on the B string, doing a dive, and then just catching that, that cheeky little harmonic on 16th fret. It is a little bit harder to do when you don't have enough distortion, so apologies if mine's a little bit weak. Not doing too badly today. Then I work into this. It's a bit of a fun little rubbish chromatic here. I'm essentially working through 16 semiquavers or 16 16th notes, and it's kind of quite chromatic really. So I'm going, I'm kind of working from 1 to 16, but at full speed, I mean, you can't really hear it. Then from that point, I work into that little phrase there. So what I'm doing is I'm playing 17 to 20 on the second string. Then I play, what's the next one? Sorry, 20 to 17, I'm working backwards. 21, 18, 22, 19, 23, 20. So it's the same tone and a half or minor third gap each time, working chromatically for 4. At the end of that, nice sexy vibrato from 23 of the first string. That's pretty much all of the first section. I know it's a little bit weird, but work through that again at a gentleman's pace and then even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, this is where it gets nice and melodic and shreddy. I start off with this. Let's slow that down. I'm going to be playing 20 of the first string, and I'm playing 20, 18, 17. Then I want to go 18, 17, 17. Hopefully that's making sense. Then I'm going to play 20, 18, 17 on the second string. At the end of that, I'm playing 19, 17, 15 on the third string. Then at the end of that, I'm going, now you'll notice that I do a cheeky little position shift there. I'll play 19, 17, 15, I'll end on my pointer, and then I will jump to my middle finger for the 15, 14 twice. That sets me up for that next phrase that follows. So this is what we should have so far. And those last 4 notes were 15, 14, 15, 14 on the third string, and then I go like this. What I'm doing here is I'm playing 14 twice on the third string, 17, 15, 14 on the fourth string, Then from that point, I want to play 17, 15, 13, 12 on the 5th. So I'm still using 3 fingers, but I'm just sort of sliding my pointer finger back and then picking it again on that 5th string. At the end of that, I'm playing 15, 13, 12, 13 on the 6th string. And this should be the whole run thus far. Hopefully that's all making sense. Then I work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. What I've got here is I'm playing 2 notes on every kind of fret, I guess. I'm going, and then just sort of doubling up each time. I was playing 10, 12, 13 on every single string from the 6th string to the 4th. So I'm doing 2 notes on 10 of the 6th, 2 notes on 12 of the 6th, and then 2 notes on 13 of the 6th. So it goes like this. Same on the 5th. Yep, and then on the 4th string, it's going to be a little bit different. Actually, it's going to be exactly the same. It's just, I guess, because we're working in sort of 16th notes, the 13th fret of the 4th string is going to be the beginning of a new bar. At the end of that, I've got to pull off from 13 to 10 on the 3rd string, and then I want to pluck the 13 again. So all together of that chunk, we're going to go. Hopefully that's all making sense. Let's go right back to the start of the section, play it at a gentleman's pace, and then do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, this is Kerry's last little chunk before we trade over to Jeff. I'm going to slide into 10 of the 3rd string. I'm going to play 10 to 13 twice. Then from that point, I'm going to go back to 10. Then I'm going to play 13, 10, 13 on the 4th string. All together. At the end of that, I've got 2 pull-offs from 13 to 10 on the 3rd string. From that point, I'm going to do a bend on 13, 15, and 18 on the same string. So all together. Hopefully that makes sense. Then I've got a double sort of hammer on from 13 to 15 on the same string. After I've done that kind of quick hammer on, I pull off to that open note and then dive that open G. At the end of that, what I'm doing here is I'm sliding the 12th fret of the 2nd and the 1st string as a double stop, and giving it some cheeky whammy when I slide it over to 15. So it's a relatively short section. I just wanted to go over it in detail so you guys didn't get too overwhelmed having 12 to 16 bars thrown at you at once. So let's go back to the start of the section, do it at a gentleman's pace, and then do it again even slower with some tabs. Let's do it one more time with some tabs. Alright guys, let's get into Jeff's solo. We're going to start with this run. So I'm basically working up the fretboard using minor third intervals of 3 fret gaps. I'm going to start off by playing 5, 8 on the 6th string. Then I want to play 7, 10 on the 5th and 4th string. Then I want to play 9, 12 on the 3rd string. So all of it's 3 fret gaps thus far. At the end of that, I'm working into that minor 7 arpeggio. So I'm doing a grace note slide from 12 to 14. Then from there, my minor 7 arpeggio is going to be 14 of the 3rd, 13 of the 2nd, and 12 of the 1st. And then I'm going to slide from 15 to 17 on the 1st string. So we're going to have all together now from the start. At the end of that, 2 angry-ish kind of pulsed bends. I'm not hitting it again, I'm just sort of doing an up and down bend and then an aggressive vibrato. Then from there, I've got a leading 15 note on the first string, and then I go into that little minor arpeggio there. So I've got the 15 leading in. I've got 2 pull-offs from 18 to 15, and then I want to jump to 17 of the second, back down to 15 of the first. That's going to sound like this. At the end of that, I'm going to play 17 of the second into 16 of the third twice. At the end of that, back to 17 again. So we've got, hopefully that's making sense. And then at the end of that, I've got 2 quick pull-offs, which is going to lead into that bend that starts the next section. I'm just playing 15 to 13 twice on the second string. That is all of this section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it from the start nice and slow, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, so we've just come out of this double pull-off thing. We're going to borrow that and then work into this bend from 15 of the second string. Then I do this. It's kind of whole tony, so it does sound a little bit disgusting, but I have a lot of time for it because that's Slayer for you. I'm doing a pull-off from 13 to 11 and then sliding to 9 on the second string. So with the phrase before. Then after that, I work into an E minor pentatonic, but I'm kind of working through that with sort of 2 groups of each string. The only thing is that when I get to the third, I'm only doing it once. So E minor pentatonic, I'm going to play 12-15 twice on the 6th string, 12-14 twice on the 5th and 4th, and then just once on the 3rd. So from the start of the section, we should have this thus far. At the end of that, I'm going to do 2 angry-ish bends on the 14 of the 3rd string, but I'm not picking it again. I'm just sort of going up and down and then aggressive vibrato. Then I want to pull off to that open G and then catch that harmonic on the way back up on fret 4. Just doesn't get old, does it? It's nice and fun. So it's a relatively short section. I just want to break it down into digestible chunks. Let's go right back to the start of the section. I'll play it relatively slowly, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, last section, let's have a look at Jeff's tapping. So I'm going to start from 12 of the second string. I'm pulling off to 5, and I'm going to go 5, 8, 5 on my fretting hand. From that point, I'm going to do a double tap from 13 to 5. So there's not a lot going on my fretting hand there. And I want to do that idea twice. So with a bit of speed behind it, it sounds cool, but just going like this feels a little bit goofy, just having 2 pointer fingers just hanging out. So all together. Okay, then from that point, I go into groups of 3. Let's slow that down. I'm going to tap 12 and hammer 5, 8, and that's going to be my first group of 3. I'm going to do the same idea, but tap 13. The fretting hand stays the same, but I'm going to do this tap group 3 times. Okay, I go back to 12 once for a group of 3, and then the second time I tap from this point, I'm going to do a hammer-on pull-off. Nice and slow now. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far from the start, and then we'll work on to the next chunk. Hopefully that's making sense. Then I work into this phrase. So what I've got here, cheeky squeal on 5 of the second string. There it is. And then I want to be going, was it 7, 4, and then to 5 on the 3rd string. If you want to get some of those more obnoxious harmonics in there, be my guest. And the last one, we can do a little bit of whammy on that. I'm going 7, 4, and then 5 on the 4th string as well. So all together this last chunk. Hopefully that's making sense. Now we're going to borrow the first phrase that we had on the 2nd string, but bring that to the 1st string. So this one goes like this. So I'm tapping 12 and then doing 5, 8, 5 as my hammer-on pull-off. So I've got 2 taps from 13 to 5. I'm going to repeat that idea twice. Okay, now this one's a little bit easier to remember. I'm going to be tapping in groups of 3 once again. I'm going to tap 12 and then do 5, 8. I'm going to do that once. And then 13 3 times. And I do that bit twice. So all together. Hopefully that's all making sense. Then I work into this next part. It's in kind of a strange timing. It's like triplets with triplets. So there'll be 3 taps per bar. It's a really, really simple idea. You can sort of almost get it to a nonsense place where you can just kind of keep going, but it's quite chromatic. I'm going to be tapping from the start 7 on the 1st string and then sliding from 3 to 5. And then from that point, I'm just moving up 1 fret at a time. I'm going to have 6 per bar. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we're back to there again. So all I'm doing is 12 taps at the end. I do a tap and then a slide, and then I repeat that 2 bars of 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is all of the last section. I'm going to go right back to the start, play it all again relatively slowly, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. And that was Kerry and Jeff solo from Seasons in the Abyss. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And please click the links in the description box if you want tabs to this lesson and anything else that I've done. If you want to join up with the Patreon with all the cool kids, I have some extra little perks there if you guys are interested in that kind of thing. I have 3 books out now that I'm very proud of. My most recent one, Shred Guitar Improvisation, is out now. If you want to up your understanding of how to play over chord changes, do interesting phrasing, and also mix up your shred sequences, legato sequences, arpeggio sequences, yada yada yada. My second book, Rock Guitar Mode Mastery, is out now if you want to up your understanding of how to use the modes in an improvised and composed setting. And of course, my first book, Ultimate Shred Machine, is still out now if you want to up your chops in shredding, sweeping, legato, and tapping. And if you were not much of a reader, all 3 of those books are available on my website and in Udemy form if you want to watch them in videos, just to hear me talk about it and explain it all in a little bit of a nice video setting. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the lesson. I'll catch you all very soon.